Good afternoon, guys. Will Mydell back again for the Creative Core, and today we're going to be teaching you guys how to add texture to the background of your images. So you say, Will, why do I need to learn how to add texture to the back of my images? Let's jump straight into this tutorial, and while we're working, I'll explain to you why we're doing this actual tutorial, okay? Alright, so what we're going to do first, we're going to open Photoshop, and then we're going to drag in the image that we're going to work with. Today I have this image I downloaded from Fotolia.com of this beautiful model with this nice plush hair. And the reason we're doing this tutorial is for photographers who want a textured background and they can't afford, say a background from Gravity Drops or one of those custom businesses that paints custom backdrops, and you really would love to shoot on them, but you don't have the budget. But you have paper backdrops, and you just want to cheat your way around it, and you want to add some texture to the background, to add some type of mood or some type of drama to your shot. There's a quick, fast way to get it done. So what we're going to do next is after you dragged your image in, you want to find some texture that you've downloaded from some website. I actually have this grunge texture that I'm gonna just drop in here right now, and it should automatically convert it into a smart object. So what we're gonna do, as you can see, we look at this image, you see the bottom of the shot of the model is a little darker. You can see where the shadow cast off. So to kind of match it, I want to add the shadows from this texture down here at the bottom. I just want to rotate that around, and we're going to enlarge this and bring that up to about right there. Alright, so the two best blending modes I've seen that work best on this is Poly Multiply and Soft Light. As you can see, if you go to Multiply, how it looks, and let's just turn this background black. Looks like a very vintage shot, and if you go to Soft Light, you'll see what it looks like. Alright, what we're gonna do first, we're gonna mask out this model quick. We're not gonna use a pen tool, which we'll do in another tutorial. We're just gonna grab the wand, and depending on the model and depending on the quality of the shot, it's gonna determine what type of tolerance you use. I think say for instance you use 8 and you click in here. Well, let's click on the model. You see how much it grabs, but if you click on something a little higher, like maybe 15, it grabs more. I think I'll just go with like 16. You just hold down shift and keep clicking in the area until it grabs everything. This little section right here, we'll worry about that in a second, but we're just gonna go grab everything else outside of the model where the texture will actually be at, okay? In this area here. Alright, now we want to grab the lasso tool. We want to zoom in and check the areas which were not selected and areas we don't want. So this little area is part of the arm. I want to take that, so we're going to take that off. Let's just hold down Alt and go ahead and remove that. And this works way easier if you're using a tablet, which I'm using right now. This may be a little difficult if you're using a mouse. If you're using a mouse, you may want to use a pen tool. It may take a little longer, but the extraction will be cleaner. Seeing that we're just adding texture, it's no big deal. I've done this a lot in the past because I've shot a lot of hair photo shoots for hairstylists, whether it be for their own personal portfolio or it be for a hair competition, and it looks great. It adds a lot of mood, and it creates a lot of mood for the hair look. And depending on the hairstylist and what type of hairstyle they're doing, whether it's curly or a traditional look or avant-garde, texture can really bring out the image, and it'll give you that look as if you were shooting on an actual backdrop with you know, custom painted texture on it. And I think that's why I like doing this compared to buying backdrops that cost $200 or $300-400 that are custom painted, because you know, at any given day I might just want to switch up, you know, my texture. I'm like, okay, what if I want to shoot on this backdrop? What if I want to put a different texture with some bubbles or some stripes or something? You know, I don't have to go spend $200 or $300 and go order and put in the order saying, yeah, I need one with stripes. I'm not doing that. You know, to each his own though. You know, some people just shoot portraits and they'll shoot the same exact model, or they'll shoot different models using that exact same backdrop, and that's cool. You know, and you can see it in their work. You know, and depending on, you know, how good they are in post-production, I mean, you could just use the curves tool and change the backdrop to a bluer tint or a greener tint or a redder or a browner. So you have the power of doing that also, but this is a quick, fast way of getting it done in Photoshop. All right, so we have the model selected. Now we're gonna go back up here to the grunge tool. We're gonna make sure the black foreground is forward so the model will be shown. And we're gonna click on this little mask button right here. We're just gonna mask that model out, as you can see. Now, as you can see, you still have the backdrop showing from the model's original shot. We're going to take care of that in a second. I just want to show you guys how it looks so far. Already looks great, and we're in normal mode. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch this to multiply. Looks even cooler. All right, and let's go to soft light. Looks great. You know, I think I actually like that better. So depending on what you like, I mean, you can scroll through all of these, and you know, so like I said, soft light and multiply usually gives the best look. All right, now start playing around with this to give a little better blend. I mean, you can like drop the opacity. You can double click on this image and hold down Alt and use the blend diff tool to kind of either blend the highlights in more or the undertones. As you can see, the shadows at the bottom blending in. Oops. Hold down Alt. And I gotta click on, here we go. I think I'm gonna keep those shadows though. I'm gonna just play with the highlights and bring the opacity back up a little bit or down. I think I like that. Okay, and I think I'm gonna add a hue saturation on top and clip that to that mask, and now I can start playing with the saturation. I think I want to drop this down a little and maybe give it a little more of a type of tone like that, and bring the opacity back up. See what that looks like. Yeah, that looks awesome. See, multiply, soft light. Let's go to the multiply tool right quick so I can show you how to blend this hair in. Basically what you want to do is just grab a brush, all right, and you want to make it soft and probably give an opacity somewhere like around maybe 20 or 30 or something like that. 28, we'll go with that. You want to zoom in, and you want to make sure the white is in the foreground, and just softly brushed around the hair. Now you can see it blending in better. Now the texture will be added on the hair on that area, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna have someone zooming in looking on the hair. I mean, unless it's like for a hair competition. I mean, most hair competitions they don't want that much Photoshop done to the hair. I mean, they'll say for the skin, all right, it's cool to do it for the skin, but we don't want the hair to be touched. Of course, I mean, it makes sense. It's a hair competition. We want to make sure that the shot, whatever was done with the hair, was made in the shot. It was created in the shot. But in situations like this, you know, the texture won't be interfering. They can actually still see. Like, you can see this zooming in. Even get in here, you can see, now you can see the texture. All right, so if you were to hide this image, you could still see that shot. I mean, if you want to drop the the opacity down where you can still see the frizzes on the edge. That's cool, but you want to bring that in so it blends into the shot, and you can actually, it'll make it seem like, okay, that was shot on that type of textured background. Even go a step further, before I even continue, let me go to this image, click on this layer and go to filter and blur, maybe Gaussian blur, and add a little blur to it to give it a depth of field, a little out of focus, maybe somewhere between 2 and 3. I'll go with maybe 2.3, something like that. 2.4, that looks great. Now it gives that depth of field like it was actually shot on the background. You see how the hair looks over here now compared to over here? It doesn't look like the hair was photoshopped, and you don't have to worry about hair extraction. You're like, okay, it's a headache sitting there trying to mask out hair, you know, to put it on a different background. Well, this is a alternative. Just add the texture on top of the image, mask out the model, and then use a soft brush to blend in the hair on the outside. I mean, the hair is not even touched. The model's not even touched. You can still see the quality. So the judges can look in there and say, okay, well, that you can still see the frizzes on the hair on the outside. I mean, you could tell it wasn't Photoshop. It looked like it was actually shot on that background. Let's continue to go around. Keep going around. All right. Soft brush, guys, because if it was a hard brush, you can tell the difference. It wouldn't look that great. And seeing that her hair is dark anyway, this is awesome. I mean, it'd probably be a different scenario where if it was a blonde, we'll probably do a tutorial on that also, because I want to show you the difference in between hair tones. It really makes a difference on different backgrounds. And let's even get in here also, because it's already dark. You're not going to tell the difference with the texture. So get in there so that the texture from this background will pop through those little areas where you see the light shining. Go around. Let's even get in here, get that texture going, make it look more realistic. Let's keep going. Let's get in here. All right, let's blend that in. Let's blend that in. Drop the brush down. Let's get in there a little bit. All right, good spot there. That's what I like about the tablet, because depending on how much pressure you're applying to the brush, it's going to apply to the whatever image you're working on. You can bear down on it lightly and it'll just give you the light, you know, touch. If you want to push down harder, it'll give you a harder touch. All right, let's get in there, blend the hair in. Get all the corners. This even works really good with quick photo manipulations. If you're trying to just work on something really creative, and you don't feel like masking out the hair, this is a great tool. I even do this with sky replacements. If I don't feel like masking out a girl's hair because it's like everywhere like this, you can see all the hair and the frizzes. That's a headache, you know, masking that out, you know. And I mean, there's plenty of tutorials out there about hair masking, but at the end of the day, it's like, do you really want to do that, or you just want to just make life easy and create whatever background you're working on first, drop it on top, and then, you know, blend it in, you know, using techniques like this. Look at that. Can't even tell the difference. Well, that's shine from the hair. We don't want to mask that. And then let's get around the corners of the body also, because you can see the frizzes on the edge of the body where we didn't get too good with the wand. It came to masking. All right, and let's get in this little corner here, and let's just check all the way around the body. As you can see, like I said, you want to tell the texture, the difference with the texture. I mean, she has a black dress on, so I was like, you're not even gonna see the texture like that. It's not even that big of a deal. But I mean, you can always go into refine mask and shrink all that in But you gotta understand, once you shrink that in, it's gonna shrink in on the hair too. So you gotta be kind of careful or pick your battles. Like either want to go this route, or you can go to refine mask. Now, granted, now if I go to soft light, you probably want to see this. You said it. You're not going to see that on soft light, only on multiply. But I like to choose multiply when I'm doing the editing, because if I ever decide to switch back to soft light, I'll know that the mask is 100%, clean, because I took the time and multiply to clean up around it, which I'm probably going to do anyway. I'm not going to get that detailed over there. And if so, I just pull out a curves adjustment and I'll just bring the light up. But that looks great. That looks awesome. It looks like she was actually shot on that background. I mean, if you want to go even deeper, you can go click on Gaussian blur and blur the background even more to highlight those little edges on her arm. Well, it's still visible, but that looks good. I think I'm gonna drop it back down to like 4, and I'm gonna go back to soft light. That looks great, because you gotta think about it. Her original background was already, kind of bright. I mean, it's kind of like lit. The lighting was kind of lit, medium light, I guess if that's a word. So I mean, if you go and you add multiply where it's way darker, of course you're going to see like the highlights on the arm. You kind of want to match the light of what was already on the original image to kind of give a more to fool the eye, to fool whoever's looking at the image. Which is why I say I'll probably stick with soft light, even though multiply does look great. But as you can see around the hair, everything is still intact. Texture is added, nothing on the hair is messed up, and the image looks great. I think I'm gonna go back into blend if right quick and pull that in, and go to my hue saturation. Let me take a look. I think I'm gonna drop that down a little more. Alright, and that's it. Texture added. Don't see it around the edge of her body. Everything looks original. It looks like she was shot on that backdrop. Turn it on, turn it off. Hair still looks great. Now what's cool about this, say for instance you're like, well, I want to switch the backdrop, or you send this off to a client or the hairstylist to show them the final image, and you're like, well, I don't want to remask all this out. Well, cool. Let's bring in a different backdrop. Alright, and we're gonna drop this in, and let me see where the light is. Probably, well, let's do it like this. All you have to do, let's turn these off. Just click on the mask. As you can see, the box highlights this, and then it highlights the mask. It highlights the backdrop, and then highlights the mask. Hold down Alt and drag that up to the top. Boom. The exact same mask you took time on masking out is on that now. So what I like to do is just click on both layers, group that, and you could just rename this texture 1. Alright. And you can try out, the looks. You go to multiply, go to soft light, see how it looks. You can create another hue saturation, clip that, play with the colors if you want, kind of like that. Click on this and you go back up to blur. Totally different look. Group that. Texture 2. If you want to bring in a different one, maybe something with like maybe a little blue, something different, and you can rotate this also. And click on this, hold down Alt, drag that up to that, blur the background. You don't have to blur the background, that's just my preference for right now. you know, soft light. Look at that. And let's go to our hue saturation, clip that, drop that down. The only reason I'm dropping the saturation because the original image is kind of pale looking, so I don't want too much color popping into that. And I think I'm going to drop the opacity on that also because that's rather dark. Like I said, let me delete this. Like, the original background is kind of mid-tone, all right? So you don't want to, you want to kind of stick towards that to fool people, you know. You want to keep dropping dark backgrounds on there and dropping super bright backgrounds because it's not gonna play off well. I'm trying to find a different texture right now. Let me see. All right, this is different. Maybe something like a brick tone. All right, or like a ash type of look. These look pretty good too. So hold down Alt, bring that up, go to multiply, and go to soft light. Now that looks really, really cool. Another thing too, if you think the background is kind of too dark, instead of putting the hue saturation, go to a curve adjustment and clip that and just bring that up to kind of match the look of the original. You see that? Now it's matching. So if you do have a dark background, you're like, well, I really like this, and it's not maybe as mid-tone as the original, use a curves adjustment to bring that up. All right, and you don't really need a hue saturation on that because this was already black and a black and white tone. And scroll around, look at the background. I think I might blur this a little bit also. Let me take a look. Get that a little blur, probably on like 3. Give it an out of focus look. And that looks nice. Also, what you can do, say for instance, because you see without the curve it's dark at the bottom, which is what I like, but when you add the curve it lights and everything. Click in this box and just add a gradient tool, a linear gradient tool to keep the dark part at the bottom, or you can go upward and have the dark part up at the top, but we're going to keep it at the bottom. That way you can keep that same dark look at the bottom, all right, and add the light to the top. So let's group these and see it before and after, before and after, before and after. All right, that's it, guys. Quick way to add texture, add some drama to your shot, add some drama to your look. Quick solution to add some texture to your background, you know, and to turn your image from like a regular shot into a totally different shot, you know, quick, fast in Photoshop. It's Will Mydell, Creative Coil. Click the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram at Will Mydell and Mr. Mydell, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching.